Begin with your knees near 18 and 19, kneeling on your shins. Find the bony points of your hips and bring the heels of your hands just inside those points, fingers pointing down toward your knees. Imagine tracing a straight line down from your fingers to your knees. This line should intersect the middle of your kneecaps. This is your hips width distance. Take note. Maintain this distance with your knees and let your arms hang heavy at your sides. Straighten your elbows, fingers pointing down toward the mat. Maintaining this width with your hands, lean down until your middle fingers touch the mat, with your left hand near 5 and 6, and your right hand near 7 and 8. Place your hands on the mat with your palms centered over the spot just touched by your middle fingers. This is your shoulder width distance. Take note of this as well. Remaining on all fours now with your knees near 18 and 19, hip width apart, shins parallel to one another. Place your hands shoulder width apart, left hand near 5 and 6, right hand near 7 and 8. Gaze down and slightly forward of your hands, engaging your abdominal muscles to support your spine and gently spreading your fingers. This is tabletop position. Inhale now, soften your belly gently toward the mat, lifting your tailbone and forehead toward the ceiling, and arching your back for cow pose. Exhale, press the mat away with your hands and round the spine, lifting your middle back toward the ceiling for cat pose. Inhale, belly drops, tailbone and forehead lift. Exhale, press the mat away and round the spine. Inhale, arch the back, gently lifting tailbone and forehead, keeping the neck in a pain-free range of motion. And exhale, press the mat away, round the spine and let the head drop. Inhale again, belly drops, tailbone and forehead lift, cow pose. Exhale, press the mat away, round the spine, cat pose. Inhale, belly drops, tailbone and forehead lift. Exhale, press the mat away, round the spine. Once more, inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone and the gaze toward the ceiling. Exhale, round the spine as much as you're able and press the mat away. Inhale, return to a neutral spine. And as you exhale, step your feet forward towards 6 and 7, and very slowly with soft knees, roll yourself up to a stand. Placing your feet now near 6 and 7, with your feet about hip width apart, gently rock back and forth and side to side until the weight is evenly distributed in your feet. Once you feel balanced, parallel the second toe on each foot with the vertical grid lines on your mat. Squeeze your quadriceps, brace your abdominal muscles, and draw in the lower part of your belly, pulling your belly button in and up. Bring your thumbs underneath your armpits and lift up as though wearing suspenders, but keep squeezing your abdominal muscles to keep from arching your lower back. Draw your shoulders down, away from your earlobes, and let your arms hang heavy at your sides, fingers gently spreading, pinkies close to your thighs. Draw your chin very slightly back to comfortably align your neck and soften your jaw. This is mountain pose. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, interlacing all fingers except the thumb and first. As you exhale, root down into the left foot and lean over to the right. Keep pulling the belly in and drawing the shoulders down away from your ears. Inhale, reach back up to center. Exhale, root down through the right foot and lean the upper body over toward the left. Squeeze your quadriceps, brace your abdominal muscles. Inhale, reach your arms back up to center, and exhale, hands to sides, mountain pose. Redistribute the weight in your feet if needed, and parallel the second toes with the vertical grid lines on the mat, feet hip width apart near 6 and 7. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head, lifting your gaze if it's comfortable for your neck. And exhale, hinge at the hips, folding over your legs. Bring your hands to your shins, the floor, or a block, and keep your knees softly bent with your lower belly pulling in. As you inhale, press your hands into your shins or the block, straighten your elbows and lengthen your spine for a halfway lift. Exhale, fold into standing forward bend. Inhale, straight elbows, long spine, broad collarbones. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, long spine. Exhale, fold into standing forward bend. Inhale to a flat back. This time, exhale, bending your knees enough to plant your hands firmly, shoulder width apart on the mat, and step your feet back toward 26 and 27 for high push-up position. Squeeze your thighs strongly, press back through your inner heels, and once again brace your abdominal muscles. Inhale, keeping your body stiff and in one long line, shift forward to your tiptoes. Exhale, keep your elbows tight to the ribs and drop knees, chest, and chin to the mat. Untuck your toes, press the tops of feet and all your toenails down into the mat. Inhale, pull your chest forward, engage your upper back muscles, and lift the chest gently for baby Cobra Pose. Exhale, lower the chest and forehead to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest for baby Cobra Pose, squeeze your elbows toward each other. Exhale, lower the chest and forehead down. Inhale, press your hands into the mat to begin lifting the hips until your hips stack directly over your knees. Exhale, walk hands toward 1 and 4, letting the chest and forehead release toward the mat. Breathe here in puppy pose, steadily in and out through the nose. Keep your hands actively pressing down into the mat, engaging gently in the arms and softening the chest and forehead down toward the mat. Inhale, walk your hands toward the intersection of 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Exhale, step your feet to 6 and 7 and fold over the legs with soft knees. Inhale, rise to a stand, reaching arms overhead, lifting the gaze if the neck is comfortable. And exhale, hands to sides for mountain pose. Look down at your feet. Parallel the second toes on each foot with the vertical grid lines on the mat. Re-engage your quadriceps. Draw your belly in and up, lifting the chest while pulling the front ribs in to avoid arching your low back. Soften your shoulders down away from your ears. Gently spread the fingers with the pinky edges of the hands near the thighs. We'll repeat that same sequence over again. Inhale, reach arms up overhead, lifting the gaze if it's comfortable for your neck. Exhale, hinge at the hips, folding over the legs, standing forward bend. Bring your hands to shins, floor, or a block, and inhale, straighten the elbows and lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, standing forward bend. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands firmly, shoulder width apart, and step your feet back toward 26 and 27 for high push-up. Squeeze your thighs towards one another, press back through the heels, and really draw your belly in, pressing the mat away from you with your hands. Inhale, keep your body in one long line as you shift forward to your tiptoes. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin to the mat. Untuck toes, press the tops of the feet down, and inhale, pull the chest forward, engaging the upper back muscles to lift the chest a little higher for Cobra Pose. Exhale, lower your chest and forehead to the mat. Inhale, curl your chest up, Cobra Pose, press the tops of the feet down. Exhale, lower to the mat. Inhale, press hands into the mat to begin lifting the hips, stacking them directly over your knees. Exhale, walk your hands toward 1 and 4, letting chest, forehead, and belly release down toward the mat, puppy pose. Breathing here, be sure that your hips are still stacked directly above your knees. Your knees are about hip width apart, and your hands gently press down into the mat. Inhale, walk your hands toward 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. And as you exhale, step your feet to 6 and 7, folding over your legs with soft knees. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand, reach your arms overhead for upward salute. And exhale, hands to sides, mountain pose. As we move into our next round of Sun Salutation A, we'll move into slightly more advanced variations of the postures we've just performed. Remember that if any of these is too challenging or doesn't feel comfortable, you're welcome to do the versions that we've already done throughout the practice. So getting comfortable in mountain pose. Inhale for upward salute, arms reach overhead. Draw your low belly in and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold over your legs, standing forward fold. Hands to shins, the floor or a block. Straighten the elbows as you inhale and lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold standing forward bend. Inhale, bend your knees enough to plant your hands firmly, shoulder width apart near 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Exhale, step your feet back toward 26 and 27 for high push-up. Continue squeezing the thighs, drawing the belly in, and as you inhale, shift your body in one long line to your tiptoes. Exhale, keep your elbows squeezing in, bend your arms and lower halfway to a low push-up. Bring your whole belly to the floor, untuck the toes, and inhale, curl your chest up, engaging the upper back muscles, Cobra Pose. Exhale, forehead to the mat. Inhale, tuck your toes, straighten your elbows, and bring your seat toward your heels. As you exhale, lift your bum and begin to straighten your legs for downward facing dog, feet near 22 and 26, and 23 and 27. Press down into the base knuckles of all of your fingers, especially the thumb and the first finger. Look at your hands to be sure your wrist creases are parallel with the top edge of your mat, and to see that the soft parts of your elbows are facing each other. If you have a tendency to lock your elbows, please bend them very slightly here. Press the mat away from you with your arms, trying to bring some of your weight back into your legs, and open through your armpits, trying to draw your chest toward your thighs, and then squeezing your front ribs together. Relax your neck, pull your navel in and up, and pedal your heels if needed, bending one knee at a time. Inhale, rise to the balls of your feet, bend your knees, and look forward toward your hands. Exhale, step or walk your feet toward 6 and 7. Inhale, flat back, long spine. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale, rising all the way up, upward salute, arms overhead. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, reach arms overhead, lifting the gaze if it's comfortable with the neck. Exhale, fold forward from the hips, standing forward bend. Keep pulling your lower belly in. Inhale, straighten elbows, lengthen spine, flat back. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale, bend your knees enough to plant your hands firmly shoulder width apart near 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Exhale, step feet back toward 26 and 27 for high push-up. Inhale, keep your body stiff as you shift forward to your tiptoes. Exhale, squeeze your elbows tight to your ribs, come halfway down for low push-up. Avoid sagging your hips toward the floor. Lower all the way down. Untuck the toes, press the tops of your feet down, and as you inhale, pull your chest forward, engage your upper back muscles, and begin to really straighten the elbows, lifting the chest for Cobra Pose. Exhale, this time lifting the hips up and back, beginning to straighten the legs for downward facing dog with your feet near 22, 26, and 23 and 27. Look back now at your feet and make sure that they're about hip width apart with your second toes parallel with the vertical grid lines on the mat. Once more, draw the belly in and up very strongly, keeping your knees slightly bent so that your lower back is flat or even slightly arched. If you can find that flatness in your lower back, you can begin to straighten the knees, drawing the heels toward the mat. Once again, pressing the mat away from you with your arms, opening through the armpits and drawing your chest toward your thighs as you squeeze your front ribs toward one another. Breathe here. Don't forget, holding your breath never helps. Inhale, rise to the balls of your feet, bend your knees and look toward your hands. Exhale, step or walk your feet toward 6 and 7. Bring your hands to the block or shins and inhale, flat back, long spine. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale for upward salute, arms reach up overhead, standing tall. Exhale, hands to sides, mountain pose. We'll take a few moments now to rest before we do a couple more rounds of Sun Salutation A. So come to kneel with your knees near 18 and 19. Bring your big toes to touch. And keeping your knees a little bit wider than hip width apart, sit your bum toward your heels. Let your belly and chest fold over your thighs and walk your hands forward, resting your forehead on the mat for child's pose. Use this opportunity to slow down your breath and quiet your mind. Feel free to gently rock your forehead from side to side on the mat. You can also gently rock your hips from left to right. Beginning to walk your hands back in, slowly lifting your torso. Step your feet towards 6 and 7 once more. Returning to mountain pose, feet hip width apart near 6 and 7, second toes parallel with the vertical grid lines on the mat. weight evenly distributed in the feet, squeezing the thighs, drawing your belly in, softening your shoulders down, and gently spreading your fingers. Remember now, as we move into our next round, that you can use any modifications you've learned during this class. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, gaze past your thumbs if it's comfortable with your neck. Exhale, fold forward, standing forward bend. Keep drawing your lower belly in. Inhale, hands to shins or a block, straighten the elbows, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold into standing forward bend. Inhale, bending knees enough to plant hands firmly shoulder width apart near 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Exhale, step the feet back toward 26 and 27 for high push-up. Engage strongly in the whole body. Inhale and shift to your tiptoes. Exhale, squeeze your elbows, lower halfway down, low push-up. Untuck your toes, pull your chest forward, engage your upper back, and inhale, straightening the elbows for Cobra Pose. Exhale, lift your hips up and back, beginning to straighten your legs for Downward Facing Dog near 22 and 26 and 23 and 27. Check once again to see that your feet are about hip width apart, your second toes are parallel with the vertical grid lines, and drawing very strongly in and up with your low belly, keeping your knees bent enough so that your lower back is flat or slightly arched. If you find that your back remains rounded in the lower part of your spine, keep your knees bent and don't worry about getting your heels to the mat. Take 2 more deep breaths here. Inhale, rise to the balls of the feet, bend knees and look forward. Exhale, step or walk your feet toward 6 and 7. Hands to a block or shins. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising all the way up to stand. Arms reach overhead, upward salute. Exhale, hands to sides, mountain pose. We'll take 1 more time through. Adjust your feet as needed. Squeeze the thighs. Pull the belly in, taking the arch out of your lower back a little bit. Take the thumbs under the armpits, lift like suspenders, and imagine that you're wearing a corset so your front ribs don't puff out in front of you. Hands by the sides, fingers gently spreading, pinkies closest to the thighs. Inhale, arms overhead, upward salute, gazing past the thumbs. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold over the legs, standing forward bend. Hands on block or shins. Inhale, flat back, long spine. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale, plant your hands, shoulder width apart near 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Exhale to step back toward 26 and 27, high push-up. Inhale with a strong, straight body to the tiptoes. Exhale, squeeze the elbows in, lower halfway down without sagging the hips toward the floor. Untuck toes. Inhale, pull the chest up and forward. Cobra Pose as you begin to straighten elbows. Exhale, lift your hips up and back toward Downward Facing Dog. Spread your fingers gently, pressing down into the base knuckles of each finger, especially the thumb and the first. Wrist creases again, parallel with the horizontal grid lines on your mat, and the soft parts of your elbows facing one another. Draw your shoulders away from your ears here if possible, letting your neck relax, your head hang heavy. Draw your belly in. Draw your chest toward your thighs. If you can find a flatness or arch in the low back, slowly begin to straighten the legs, bringing the heels toward the floor. Inhale, rise to the balls of your feet, bend your knees and look toward your hands. Exhale, step or walk to 6 and 7. Hands to shins or a block. Inhale, flat back, long spine. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale to stand, reach arms up overhead. Draw your front ribs and belly in. Exhale, mountain pose. Come to a seat now, bringing your bum down around 22 and 23, finding an easy cross-legged seat, sitting up tall, reaching through the crown of the head. You have the option to sit on a block or a blanket here if your hips are tight and your low back is rounding or your knees are really far from the floor. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your right fingers or forearm down to the mat and reach your left arm up and over to the right. Root down through the left hip and glute and breathe here. Inhale, lift arms up overhead. Exhale, left fingers or forearm down to the mat, right arm reaching up and over to the left. This time, root your right hip and glute down and breathe here. Inhale, both arms back up to center. Lift the gaze toward the fingers if your neck allows. And exhale, hands down to your sides. Now come to lay down on your back, drawing your knees in toward your armpits. Reach your hands toward the outer edges of your feet or ankles, and if that's inaccessible, reach for your hamstrings behind your knees. Let your head, neck, and torso remain soft and heavy on the mat. As you inhale, root your tailbone down toward the floor, and with the soles of your feet pointing toward the ceiling, you can exhale, pull down on the feet or legs, and gently rock from side to side in happy baby pose. Be sure that the soles of your feet are pointing up toward the ceiling, that your tailbone is rooting down, and that your upper body remains as heavy as possible. You have the option here to extend one leg out to the side and then the other, gently rocking if it feels good on your back and hips. Release your feet or the backs of your legs. Draw your knees together. Bring them into your chest. Make yourself a tight little ball, drawing your forehead and your nose toward your knees. And then bringing your hands to your shins or the tops of your knees, allow your upper body to rest on the mat. Bringing both legs over now toward the left, allow them to roll all the way down so your left thigh and shin rest on the mat. Gently root down into the mat with your right shoulder and shoulder blade, and relax your head, allowing the gaze to move over to the right if that's comfortable for your neck. Rest your left hand on the outside of your right thigh and extend your right arm straight out or bent at the elbow like a cactus, palm facing up. Inhale, gently drawing your knees back up to center. And as you exhale, allow both legs to fall over to the right, resting the outside of your right leg on the floor. Relax your head, allowing your gaze to fall over to the left if that's comfortable, rooting down into the mat with your left shoulder and shoulder blade. Rest your right hand on the outside of your left thigh and extend your left arm straight out or bent like a cactus, palm facing up. Breathe here, allowing your eyes to close if that's most comfortable for you. Inhale, drawing both knees back up to center once more. And as you exhale, extend one leg toward 2 and the other toward 3. You're now lying flat on your back. Gently point and flex your toes a couple of times, squeezing the thighs and the calves. And then releasing the engagement, allowing the legs and feet to splay open. Rest your arms down by your sides with a little bit of space between your body and your arms, turning your palms upward. Soften your face. Unclench your jaw. Let your eyes close. Inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale fully through your mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Sigh through the mouth and take rest.